It is I, Amy Jasper, here at Inking on the Fly, and I am excited because I get to share with you a couple of alternatives for the paper pumpkin kit. I'm just gonna go for it, and you can follow along and kind of discover my final result that I came up with. So here I'm just gonna jump right in. Well, first let me just start by letting you know, if you don't know what Paper Pumpkin is, it's a subscription that comes to your door. I don't have the box close by to be able to grab it for you and show you, but it's a subscription that you pay per month to receive, and you can make the cards as is, or you can make something different. And today I'm making something different with the April kit. So follow along. Hi, Doreen. Nice that you can join me. Yeah, follow along if you have the kit. These are some options of things you can make. This one, I'm starting with a card base that is Bumblebee cardstock. So this is your standard 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25 to make your card base. And then, because the kit goes so well with the Designer Series Ice Cream Corner Designer Series paper, because of the themes that go along with the similar themes, I am using a piece of the Designer Series paper. This one is cut to, what is it, 2.5 by 3, and I think it's 5/8. Yeah, it must be 5/8. Okay, what else do I have for this one? I'm also using something not from the kit as well. This is a die cut used, what did I use? The Stitch So Sweetly's dies. So this is just basic black cardstock, Stitch So Sweetly dies. So it's the wonderful stitched scalloped rectangle. So this one is 2.5 by 3 and 5/8. So if you don't have the stitched scallop option, you could do an alternative die, or you could just cut a piece of black cardstock. That would work as well. What else do I have? I also have a piece of, what color is this? Coastal Cabana cardstock. Hi, Terry. Yay. You're crafting with me today. That's exciting. The Coastal Cabana is 5/8 of an inch by 3.5 inches. And then, because I want a piece that's going to mat inside of this, the stitched part of my stitched scalloped rectangle, I have a piece of basic white. Man, it's going to take me forever to not call it whisper white. This is 2 1/8 by 3.25, give or take. And what else? Okay, let's make some stuff. Let's make this happen. So for this one, I'm going to use the adorable stamp that is a watermelon half. And not in the kit, I'm going to be using the Tuxedo Black ink. And I'm going to color mine with blends markers. So if you don't have blends markers, other options would be ink and a blender pen, or the watercolor pencils, or other coloring tools that you might have. I like using the blends because they work so well with the Memento Black ink. The Memento Black ink, of course, is a water-based ink. So when you use it with alcohol markers, it does not bleed. The color won't bleed. So, but if you're using it for watercoloring, you have to be a little more cautious and know that this might kind of bleed and blend with the color that you're applying. So if I do use Memento Black with watercoloring, I will try to kind of avoid the black, or if I go over it super fast and not use too much water. Those are kind of the techniques I use. So the the blends pens, like these, give you more control when you're doing any watercoloring techniques, particularly with the Memento water-based ink, black ink. So just a couple of little tips for ya. So I'm going to color this little guy with my markers, and I love the combination of Flirty Flamingo and Granny Apple Green. They're like choice, fancy choice colors. Love them. So I always like to start, I don't know, actually now I'm not so sure what I always like to start with. I'm going to start with the darker Flirty Flamingo and just color where I want some darker colors. Let's go more center. And then the light color, I can go over what I've already done to blend that and then work my way out like that. And it's okay to have a little bit of white showing because it gives it sort of that colored effect. I feel like having a little bit of white there makes it look more artsy somehow. So this is Granny Apple Green. The Granny Apple Green, I'm going to focus the dark more around the edges, and I'm using the bullet tip because I have more control. And it's such a small, it's just a small space, right? So oh, that sounds fun, Terry. You're making bookmarks to go with the new catalogs. I love that. I haven't made a bookmark in a long time. I think that's a great idea. So this is, again, the light Granny Apple Green. So that's it. That makes the coloring super simple. If I want to darken up that pink, maybe let's go in there with the pink and just make that a little darker. I feel like I want a little more going on. And that's kind of a nice thing about the markers. There is a certain amount of layering that you can do. There we go. And even with the black, even with the markers, there is a touch. I don't know if you, let's try to get that in focus. There is a touch of bleed with that Memento, even still. And I did color on there pretty, like, excessively, probably. Sometimes when I want to kind of help a black line to pop a little bit more, I'll even go in with the black Stampin' Write marker. Let's see if I can reach it. Like the Stampin' Write marker. And sometimes I'll use the pen end, and I'll actually go over lines if I feel like I've lost some of the definition of those lines. I'm actually okay with this one, but that is a little tip for you that can help you kind of add some definition. I find, especially when I'm doing, if I have a black outline of like an animal, for example, sometimes you lose definition with the lines on the animal's body. And I especially want to fill in their eyes. I don't know if anybody else focuses, but I like the eyes to be more in focus. So that's something that I'll go in with my marker and really fix up the eyes to make them a little more, just a little sharper. Okay, so this I can glue onto my scalloped rectangle with my handy dandy favorite, as you know, Tombow liquid glue. It's what I use all the time. It's my default. I just find I feel like I have the most control with it, and it gives me that ability to shift my paper into position if I put it down crooked, which other adhesives don't allow for. Okay, we're coming along. So next thing I want to do is use a stamp with that Coastal Cabana piece. And I can already tell you my stamp is dirty. I have a bad habit of not cleaning them, so let's take a moment. My Simply Chamois is nice and ready for me to give that a quick clean. And for this one, this is the You Are So Cool stamp. I'm going to use that Memento Black again. everybody has black ink in their stamp room, right? It's like your standard starting point. The very first ink that I bought was black, and it was from, oh my goodness, now I'm remembering some fun things. So when I first learned about stamping, it wasn't actually Stampin' Up! That I learned about stamping from. It was a store in town where I live in Kelowna called Stampers Magic. And they had a little booth in the mall one time. And that's where I learned about heat embossing, actually. So I was in the mall and crafty me was checking out this booth. And the lady there showed me right at the booth how to heat emboss. So I purchased a little ladybug stamp, outline stamp. I wonder where that is. And and the heat, what did I get? Maybe I didn't get the heat embossing stuff yet, but I got the stamp and the black ink. And then I was ready to go crazy. That was my first introduction to stamping. Isn't that crazy? So if you don't know what this is the Banners Pick-a-Punch. So oftentimes I will flag the end of things with my paper snips, but now that I have this punch, I just find I trust it. I like that it will let me. Now my paper is the wrong size though, dang it. So this one has different sizes of paper, and the first size is 1/2 inch. The next one is probably 5/8 of an inch, which means this should fit, but you can see it's a little bit, it's a too small to fit in the middle and too, I don't know, so maybe this won't work. Maybe I'll have to do this one by hand. Otherwise it will be crooked, or I can manually position it in here. Yeah, I think I still can. Whew. So that gives me that beautiful flagged end. Oh, that was Ev, your friend Ev. What? Oh, where is she now? Because you know what else I got from that store? When I did, so back in 2000, I went back to that store where I got that, where I discovered that store in the mall. So I went to the store when I was looking to make my wedding invitations. And they had a machine that did personalized stamps. And so she made, well, I don't know if it was her, but whoever was there made me, oh, I got ink all over my, dagnabbit. She made me my invitation stamps for my wedding invitations. So I gave her, the copies of, I don't think this is going to work. Sometimes you can get, I don't know why, but I guess because sometimes ink goes on your paper because of like sticky spots, and you get stuff on your papers and it's, oh, maybe it is working. And sometimes you can kind of like use your adhesive eraser to get it, to reduce it anyways. And I think this is sort of working. You can't even probably see it on the screen. Anyway, we'll have to work with that. I'm not sure why it smudged a little bit. Anyway, so they made my wedding invitations. So I chose the font and I stamped all my wedding invitations. I didn't even know about Stampin' Up! Yet. Okay, this one is going to angle on my card, following the same angle as my adorable watermelon. So that's going to go on there. But before I put that on, I'm going to attach some of the baker's twine that came in the kit. So what happened to her store? I was actually I was sad that the store left, because that's where I bought my, like I said, all my stamps for my invitations, but I also bought all my paper, the paper that I used, and she helped me figure out how to attach my ribbon and my vellum, and I did get embossing from her at the time too, embossing powder. I did silver. It was fantastic. I was very sad when the store left. So I'm just tying a bow, and one thing I really like about the scalloped edges on things is that you can tuck your baker's twine in and control its direction a little bit. So that's kind of fun. I got to retie this though. Oh, please do tell her about that, Terry. That's cool. Nice that she's retired, but sad that the store, because I don't think the store even, like, there is no Stampers Magic anymore. So she must, I wonder who she sold her machine to, because the one that makes stamps, because boy, it'd be nice to do personalized stamps again. There we go. That bow is better. Okay, so we have a bow on an angle. It's already pretty stinking cute. And then we can attach the "You Are So Cool." I'm going to attach it so that I don't see that thread. So it's going to cover that up, but that's going to be on dimensionals, of course, because as you know, I am a dimensional fiend. Oh, if she still has it, Terry, you and I, we could maybe invest. That would be so cool. Invest in a rubber cutting stamp making tool. Oh, the things we could do. So that would be so cool. Hi, Kim. So nice that you're here too. I like when you guys are here visiting with me. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you're busy or you don't know that I'm here. And then I don't get to talk to you, and then I'm kind of lonely. So it's so nice when I get to see your names on there and interact with you. I'm just moving that guy down. I want him a little bit lower. Okay, you're so cool. That's gonna go at an angle. It's so cute. I love the bumblebee with the Coastal Cabana. Oh my goodness. See, there used to be a Cool Caribbean. You've heard me mix those up so many times, I'm sure. Okay, so we're almost there. This card's pretty simple. So we're going to use this piece that I pre-cut. This is the Ice Cream Corner Designer Series paper. And again, in case you missed it earlier, this is 2.5 by 3 5/8. And that's going to go, it's going to tuck underneath here. So actually I think I'm going to attach it to this first and then attach it to my card base. And I want it on dimensionals because, you know, that's the way I roll. So we're going to do dimensionals on this guy. I think the thing too that I liked about Ev's stamps that she made was they were just a wood block mounted stamp. So it wasn't any fancy, like, I don't know, fancy handles and all that. It was pretty simple. I wonder where I put mine. They're probably, I should, oh, it'd be cool to show those. My pre-made stamps for my wedding invitations. The reason I stamped my wedding invitations was because the boring old invitations that you could buy were, well, boring and expensive. So I thought, well, I might as well just buy stuff and make my own, because then they are what I want, customizable. And if they're going to be expensive, I might as well have something to keep, right? Like the stamps and the paper and the skills. If I'm going to pay the money, might as well have something to show for it at the end. Okay, again, the handy dandy Tombow liquid glue is a lot easier to apply behind things when you have dimensionals all on the other side compared to like using a snail tape runner or something. So again, my handy dandy Tombow liquid glue is my friend. So this is just going to go on my bumblebee card base. So cute. And this is sticking up a bit, so I'm going to sneak a couple of dimensionals underneath. Let's go with half-sized ones, just because I didn't put dimensionals under there. So it's popping up just a little bit. So let's fix that. Hi, Eunice. Thank you. You know, it's fun to use the stamps in the Paper Pumpkin kits and be creative with that. Sometimes I find it difficult, like this particular kit, I found the colors a bit difficult for me, and that's just my own personal thing, but so that's why, oh, let go. That's why I really like this card, because it goes with more the pinks instead of the reds on the design. So there's that one. I almost could move this guy up higher, but I think we're good with that. So there's one card, one of my alternatives, and that one was more organized than the next one I have to share with you. The next one I haven't quite gotten there. So Kim, you made your invitations too. Yes. What is it? Okay, so Celtic design. So you made Celtic designed invitations, and you made, yeah. So my theme, I had a bit of a Celtic theme as well. So my dress had really long flowing kind of medieval styled sleeves for my wedding dress. And the font I used had a Celtic feel, and we had the music we used was more on the Celtic side of things. So interesting, Kim. What year did you get married? So I was 2000, so I wonder if that was sort of a thing. I don't know. Okay, card number 2, I'm going to make a slimline card. I haven't made these very often, so I wasn't exactly sure on the sizing, but I knew I wanted it to fit in one of those long business envelopes. So I cut it to be, what size is it? 8.5. 8.5 by 7.5, scored at 3 3/4. Right? Yes, 3 3/4. Okay, 2004, Kim. Oh, so close. So yeah, but do you have Celtic family members? Because I don't. It was just something I liked. But I don't have any Celtic roots at all. I'm actually Norwegian. I have Norwegian roots. So yeah, I don't know. I was on a Celtic kick. I really liked the art and the medieval kind of feel to it as well. And it wasn't like our full-on theme. There was elements of it, the medieval kind of feel. Okay, so this is Granny Apple Green. And then I have a piece of basic black that I have cut to 8 inches by 3 1/4 inches. I'm going to put that on directly. And again, this one, I've mostly got this card designed in my head. So hopefully it actually translates well to a final product. So I think the black against that green really gives a good punch. I like that. And then I have a piece of basic white that's a little bit smaller. So this is 7 7/8 by 3 1/8. But before I attach that one, I'm going to add a little bit of color to it and do some funky fun things, like maybe I'll add I don't know which order I want to do this in. I'll add color first, I think. So to add color, I am going to use one of my blending brushes that is just sort of generic blue. I think I've used it for Bermuda Bay and like those tealy blue kind of colors anyways, which will work well because I'm using Bermuda Bay again. So Kim, your husband is Scottish. There's a castle with his family name in Scotland. Ooh. And you're Irish, so you're meant to argue. That's hilarious. So Celtic can be speaking to many who do a whimsical theme. Yeah, it's all fairies and leprechauns. Totally. Yeah, and the medieval kind of feel, which is I guess more what I was going for. But I do like I was really into, Celtic knots and stone things and all that stuff. So that's cool. Yeah, and slimline cards can have a lot more space to write in, which can be good on the one hand, or it can be frustrating on the other hand, because then you feel like you have to fill the space, but you don't. And there's tricks to making it, to giving yourself less space. So on the inside of the card, if you have part of it decorated and only a section white, then there's less to fill, which is nice if you don't want to fill as much. Okay, so blending brushes. I usually, when I do inking with a sponge or a brush, I usually start off my paper and move in. But in this case, I want the color to be on the inside. So I can't do my usual technique of starting off the paper. And the reason I start off the paper is to avoid getting that big initial whoop of ink in one spot, because it's hard to control that initial pressure. So because I know that I'm going to be putting something on this side, I can start over on this side because it will be covered up. So I'm just going to, look how beautifully, oh, it just blends so beautifully. But you can see my bloop right there. Bloop. Bloop of ink. So I am just going to add, look, it's just so soft. Oh, I love these brushes. So I'm just going to add that, just that hint of color in the middle. Focusing a little bit more on this left side because I'm going to put that big old watermelon over there. And again, you can see I'm starting over on that one side first so that I have control of that initial bloop of ink. That is my technical term. I'm not sure how to spell it. So I think that looks pretty good. So you can see the bloop right there, but the rest is blended quite. It's just so soft. I love how these brushes look, how they apply ink. Okay, so I know that I'm going to be attaching this little guy on here, so I want to make sure that I have enough color kind of showing. So I think I want to add a little more color up there. Because I want more color to be visible up there. And a little more down here. So maybe a little more down there yet. And the thing, I think the reason why these blending brushes work so well is because they apply such a small amount of ink, so you have more control. And because it's an actual brush, I don't know if you've seen these before, but it's an actual brush. Like this is the soft, it's so soft. You could probably use it for applying your makeup, like your foundation, use it as a foundation brush. It's just lovely on the skin. Okay, I think that's, make sure I've got color where I want it. Maybe I'll add a little more here. I'm maybe being a bit too fussy. There we go. We'll go with that. Okay. Now before I attach that to my card, I wanted to do another little trick to add a little bit of texture, because right now we've got the texture just because we did some blending with the blending brush, but let's use our scoring tool and we're going to create a bit of an edge around the outside of this paper just to give it a little more going on. I've done this before, so if you've probably seen it if you've watched some of my other videos. If you don't have the Simply Scored tool, I recommend you get it because it makes it super quick and easy to do things like this. But you do have most people have a score tool on their their paper trimmer, so you can use that as well. I find that scoring isn't as defined though. It's not as deep. So I do like that you can score a little bit deeper. So I flipped my paper over and I want to do an edge on all the sides because I want my scoring lines to be embossed on the front of my card. So Terry, you're sorting your coil bound catalogs and one of them is 1.5 catalogs all bound together? Oh no, someone is missing half a catalog. That's so weird. Uh-oh, just one of them, hey? I wonder how many went like that. Everybody better check your catalogs. Make sure you don't have any wonky catalogs like that. That is weird. I've never seen that before. You know, I did have, okay, this might date me a bit. Back in, I don't remember what year it would have been, but I purchased a cassette tape with, oh, sorry, I'm doing 1/8 of an inch in case you're wondering. I purchased a cassette tape from a record store and it was Michael Jackson. No, it wasn't. Sorry, George Michael. Oh my goodness. Other Michael. George Michael. I loved George Michael. And it was his Freedom album. I think it was called Freedom. One of the songs was anyways. And it was all screwy. Like the middle, like the cassette tape started in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the song. And then it was all mixed up. Like it started in the middle and ended in the middle of before. Like it was just wonky. So they recorded it badly and somehow put it on the tape weird. So yeah, we'll have to make sure that the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator team is aware that some of the catalogs might be wonky. Oh, I see what you're saying, Terry. You're actually saying it might have been in the coiling process. Interesting. Because Desiree had those catalogs coiled for everybody at Staples or wherever she ended up going. So it might have been their mistake. Right. So yeah, we better call Desiree, make sure other people didn't get wonky scored or wonky ones. Okay, so I have just that one score line. Look at how different, like it just adds so much. And sometimes I'll do a second score line as well. I don't know if I want to do a second one. We'll just leave it as it is. So that was just 1/8 of an inch from the edge all the way around. And the trick is, I mean, you can have your lines cross at the corners and then you don't have to worry about trying to line up your corner marks. But I don't find that too difficult, particularly at that 1/8 of an inch mark because it's kind of a narrow space, so it's quite forgiving. Okay, so that is that. So that's going to go on there like that. And I'm going to use my handy dandy Tombow liquid glue. The nice thing too with this scoring technique is that the other side looks pretty as well. So if you do a scored border on a card front, like your card base, the inside will still look pretty, which I like as well. So that's just going to center on my black. Pretty, pretty. Okay, so now I have my, this little guy that I want to add. I don't really love the border and it's got the back side of the card, which I don't need. So I'm just going to trim that off. I don't know if I want all the border gone. I think we'll just, yeah, I don't know. We'll just trim off all the border. And then the back side of this, like this back side here, I could color on my own and make my own rainbow or watercolored watermelon. So don't throw the backs away because you can create things with those as well. I've also seen people use these as gift card holders, which I thought would work really well with this card actually. Because you could have only adhesive on the two ends of your watermelon piece See, that's better without the border, I think. But you could have only adhesive on the sides and then your gift card could, if you wanted to do that, it could slide in. It will show, of course, but that's the point. You want people to know there's a gift card, right? So it could slide in if you just had those pieces attached and maybe just the bottom. I don't feel like doing a gift card holder right now. I'm just going to work with my pieces. What else do I want? I want one of the labels from the kit as well. So this is one of the stitched labels. And I still get a bit frustrated that the color white in the Paper Pumpkin kit is not the same color white of our basic white cardstock. So when you put them close together, you can see, maybe I can see, I don't know if you can see, the color is not quite the same. But because I sponged this, it won't be very noticeable that it's different. But I wouldn't put white on white directly because it would be quite noticeable for me anyways. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this guy with my happy birthday stamp. And should I use, okay, so I'm going to be putting this, I'm trying to decide what color I want. Do I want to use Bermuda Bay or do I want to use black? Ooh, I just had an idea. Okay, never mind. I'm not actually asking you, apparently. I was originally. I was going to let you choose, but then I came up with an idea. So sorry. I'm going to do my own thing. Okay, I don't need the You're So Cool. And maybe this will backfire. Who's to know? So I'm using the Happy Birthday. I think I've used it, so it should be good to go. But I'm going to do some happy birthdays in a row down the side before I attach this. Hey, right? I think that's going to be cute. So I could use my Stamparatus. Probably would be smart, but I don't want to get it out right now. So I'm just going to decide where I want these to go, and I'm going to stamp them down the side of my slimline card placing my, oh, what did I just get on? Oh, is that blood? What in the world? Don't get blood on your cards, you guys. That's not recommended. My finger apparently is. How many times does this have to happen to me? Get blood on my things. Okay, I will show you how to clean that up, hopefully. We have tricks. We do tricks. Okay, so let's do the happy birthday stamp. And I'm going to make sure everything's kind of straight on my grid paper because I'm going to eyeball this. So if you're using your Stamparatus, then it's going to take all that guesswork away, but I'm going to eyeball it and just hope for the best. I usually do okay, especially with clear stamps. So once I decide where, I think I'll put it right about there. Move that out of the way. And I'm going to put, I don't know how many. I haven't done this card yet, you guys. Okay, so there's one. Whew, scary. Happy birthday. And then I'm going to do another one. But I think, no, I was thinking maybe I'd stamp it off, but I don't think I will. Let's just do one more here. I'm playing with fire, folks, stamping this without my Stamparatus. But I think I'm winning. Do I want one more? Yeah, one more. One more. Oh, that was scary. But I did it. Look at me go. Yay me. Except for that blood part. Okay, ignore the blood. It's my pinky. Okay, so that's going to go there. So it's hiding some of those, which I think works. Because I'm going to then I'm going to stamp a happy birthday on there. And I think it's going to be, oh, this is where I'm not sure. Should it be Bermuda Bay on the label or should it be Basic Black on the label? What do you think? I don't know. I don't know. I'll put this on dimensionals while I think about it. If I can find my regular ones. I've got Paper Pumpkin dimensionals. That seems appropriate since I have Paper Pumpkin stuff going down here. Nobody's helping me out here. I need an idea. Should I do the label with black ink or with Bermuda Bay ink? You guys got to help me out. So I'm going to put the label there, but will it be black or Bermuda Bay? I think I'm leaning toward black myself, but you got to tell me what you think. All right, maybe I'll just, how about I do both? Because I can. I have two labels. Well, I don't know where the other one is, but I'm going to try it with black. It also has two sides, although one side is definitely not as nice, so I won't use the two sides. Let's try it with black and see what happens. I'll give it a quick cleaning first. Oh, Terry agrees with me with black. All right, let's see. Of course, I don't have the other labels nearby. I'd have to disconnect from my phone. My cords are being wonky. Just 1 second. I gotta fix my cords before it accidentally turns off my cord was touching the stop part of my screen that says finish, and then it would end my video, and that would be frustrating. So let's just move my cord. Hopefully that's better. Okay, let's do basic black, or the tuxedo black on the label. I always feel like some celebratory horns should blow when I successfully stamp something. Does anybody else get that? Yeah, I think black's good because I think it just gives that distinct difference. Now I'm not loving how this stamped. I don't know if you can see. It's a little bit uneven. So that would have been a good one to do in my Stamparatus, because then it would stamp it a little bit. I could stamp it twice and get it a little more even. Okay, so that happy birthday is going to go around here somewhere. I don't know. Maybe it will tuck in a bit. I don't know. And I still have this to deal with. Not sure. I might have to put something over top of that. Anyway, we'll figure that out. Okay, so let's we're going to do dimensionals on. Do we want dimensionals on both sides is the question, so that it pops up. I think I do. I think I want it to be popping up on here. I don't know. Now I'm all like, where do I put this? Do I put it in line with those three, or I think I want to tuck it in a bit and have it not match. That's the way I'm leaning, I think. So it's going to be on dimensionals on here, which means it's going to need 2 dimensionals under that side so that it will match the height. Which I don't do the layering of dimensionals very often, but it serves its purpose. And I do want to still put some twine on this one. Oh, now I'm done. See, I'm second guessing. I gotta stop second guessing myself. I do kind of want to cover up that nasty blood stain. Oh my goodness, how embarrassing that I got blood on my card. Okay, somebody's got to tell me that they've done that too, because then I'll feel better. Maybe I'll put this. What do you guys think? Should it be in line? I think here. Let's go there. I'm just going to go there. Cover up one of my perfectly placed happy birthdays. That's okay. Oh, and there we go. And that's still there. That's still a problem, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. We have options, but let's add some twine. And I haven't really used the stickers in the kit very much. I considered using a sticker with this card, but I think I'm not really a sticker fan. I think I'll leave the stickers to be used on the envelopes or inside the card maybe, rather than outside. But if I do use the stickers on a card, I'll most likely, most of the time, I'll cut off the white outline like I did with this watermelon. Okay, so I just tied a big loopy bow, and it doesn't want to sit nicely, so let's fix that. The trick with baker's twine is to try to make it the size that you want it. If you start adjusting it, they start to curl. This one just wants to curl anyways. I really struggle with tying baker's twine. You guys, stop watching and it will tie better. Don't look. Okay, let's try again. Tying a bow with the baker's twine. I like that this is yellow, this bumblebee yellow. Such a great color. So cheerful. Okay, that's just gonna have to do. I'm gonna tuck. I don't like it. It's not gonna work. Maybe I want to do maybe I just want to do my like typical nest thing instead. It's a little easier to manage. So instead of a bow, I'm gonna make a nest. Maybe. Again, just stop watching already, and then this will be easier. It's so self-conscious. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to attach that to a glue dot so I have more control for placement. Because I've already attached everything, but I want it to tuck underneath, right? Which means in order to get it underneath, I probably have to detach. This is why doing them out of order doesn't really work. I'm doing it out of order. Okay, you're gonna go up in here like that to start with, and then I can move things. There, this might work. Maybe I don't have to detach things. I think my loops are too big. That doesn't happen very often. Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah, it works. We'll go with that. We'll go with that messy loop thing going on. I'll probably have to add a few little glue dots underneath just to connect those better. And again, I still have my little blood stain over here, my little DNA added to my card. It's an original card, folks. It's got my DNA on it. So I can do, you know what I can do? I mean, we can always add adhesive kind of backed dimensionals. Another way to get rid of some of those sorts of things is to use the Stampin' Chalk marker and just go in and dab. I don't know if this will work because I did do some sponging in the background, right? So this might not hide this weird little smudge very well. So I just tap. And sometimes that works and it hides well enough. I don't think it's going to work this time. It's still quite noticeable. It's hard to catch on but you can see my little smudge there. So I think I'm probably better off adding some rhinestones or something to that. And if I had some nearby and didn't have to go traipsing around my messy craft room, I would attach them for you, but I don't have any close at hand. So imagine something there and probably, you know, maybe 2 over here, 1 over here, kind of a thing. Maybe I'll pull that off after I finish this video and then share that final result. So here is my slimline card using the April Paper Pumpkin kit. And then I also have this card using some of the supplies in the kit as well.